I'm Paul Goodman-Simpson from eRDS Solutions and Services, and welcome to this video, FM Placeholders in Revit. A lot of BIM models tend to ignore the assets outside of a building. Often these assets are overlooked, and when they are modelled, it's not to the same level of detail we expect for architectural and mechanical assets inside the facility. This Revit demo model is a typical example. You can see that outside the building we have just two areas defined, one for the road system and another for the terrain. There's nothing wrong with this per se, but for construction and operations alike, it doesn't allow us to use the BIM model to its full potential. If we give a little more consideration to this site, you can see there will be distinct areas outside the building. These might include the security house, parking spaces, access roads and pavements, forecourts and courtyards, the gardens and playing fields. And here are just a few examples of the assets we might find within those spaces. Some of them can have a higher capital value and installation cost than many of the assets inside the building. On a site such as this one, you could easily be looking at well over 500 assets in the external areas alone. And when things go wrong, they can have just as much, if not more, impact on building operations than many of the assets inside the building. Most FM and asset maintenance software requires the assets to be located by building, level and room, much the same as we find with the COBie system. So, to have a better outcome, we need to define the external areas as rooms or spaces, so the assets within them can be better located, managed and maintained. Our new FM Placeholder plugin is designed to assist with this scenario by creating a 3D object for every room or space inside and outside the building. These will be used later on to support all kinds of BIM processes, from providing location for asset information, communicating the design concept to the building owner, and delivering a better model for the planning and logistics team. If we look at the floor plans, we see the rooms inside the building were defined using the standard Revit procedure. The external spaces, however, were defined using room separation lines, since there are no bounding walls, and each has been given a room name and number. Defining the outside spaces on the floor plans for a project like this should take about half a day. But once it's done, we can employ the FM Placeholder plugin to automate some of the 3D modelling. The plugin is installed onto the 3D Asset tab on the Revit ribbon, and when you open it, you will see two options for Custom and Express FM Placeholders. Clicking the Custom button opens a dialog box which shows all rooms and spaces detected on the floor plans in a list that's sorted by building level. You can go through the list, setting each room or groups of room to the colour scheme of your choice. In this example, I'm setting the grass areas to be green, land spaces as dark green, pavements to be dark grey, access roads in grey, and the walkways to be olive. Once you have made your settings, all you need to do is click on the Create button and the plugin will make a 3D object for all of the rooms in just a few seconds, as you see here. If we hide everything else in the building except for the floors, you can see the plugin created 3D FM placeholder objects for each space. By default, these objects are 10mm thick and positioned 10mm above the floor slab. Each FM placeholder object has parameters for room name and number, plus dimensional data for areas and perimeters that will be useful going forward. As you see here, the project looks a lot better with the FM placeholders in terms of its visual impact. A key advantage of treating the external spaces in the same way as we would do for rooms inside the building is that they will be included when exporting the information to building databases such as eRDS or to spreadsheets including COBie. Here you can see a list of the 90 rooms that were defined as outside spaces on the Revit floor plans. And as we investigate one of the parking spaces, you can see how non-modelled asset information has been defined and added. In this parking space, S101, we have a charging station for electric vehicles, a rubber parking block and a reserved parking sign, and descriptions of the surface finishes including the asphalt and painted road markings. All this information can be written back to the BIM model through our eRDS Manager plugin. Here you can see how the information from the database has been included as new Revit parameters. All non-modelled asset information can be viewed and edited through the eRDS Manager, as you see here. So there you have an overview of the FM Placeholder plugin, which is available from our eRDS or Revenue Up website. If you have any comments or suggestions, we'd be happy to hear from you. But in the meantime, thanks for watching and see you next time.